The birthday that changed everything. My name is Zola Bell, and this is my story. Not the fairy tale version I used to believe in, but the real one. The one that started with a glass of poisoned wine on my 42nd birthday. Keon and I had been married for 18 years. To the outside world, we were the perfect couple. No kids, but a solid love, a nice condo in Atlanta, good jobs, quiet weekends. Keon was the kind of man who never forgot a birthday or anniversary. Every celebration came with the same bottle of California Cabernet Reserve, the exact wine we discovered on our first anniversary. It became our ritual. Same label, same rich scent of cherry, oak, and spice. It felt like proof that some things in our marriage stayed pure. That morning, he kissed my cheek before the sun was even up. "They moved the meeting to 9, he whispered, apologetic. "I'll make it up to you tonight. Your favorite dinner, candles, our wine, just us." I smiled, swallowed the disappointment, and went to work. At the office, my friend Brianna surprised me with flowers and a tiny cake. We laughed about our boss's latest quirks, but my mind was already home, picturing Keon cooking, picturing that bottle waiting for me. When I walked in at 6, the house smelled incredible. Roasted sea bass, fresh cornbread, salad. Candles flickered on a white tablecloth. Keon pulled out my chair like he always did. "You look beautiful in that blue dress," he said, eyes soft. He opened the wine with that familiar pop, poured 2 glasses, raised his. "To you, Zola, my love, my everything, for giving my life meaning all these years." My throat tightened with happy tears. We clinked. I brought the glass to my lips and froze. The smell was wrong. I know that wine like I know my own heartbeat, but tonight there was something else underneath the cherry and oak, a faint, bitter chemical bite, almost hidden but there. "Keon," I said carefully, "this smells off. Don't you notice anything?" He sniffed his glass. "Tastes fine to me. Maybe your nose is tired from work." I stared at my glass. My survival instinct whispered, "Don't drink." Then I lied. "I think I accidentally took your glass. Let's switch." For one heartbeat, his face changed. Surprise? Fear? Then he shrugged and swapped. We ate. We talked about work, weekend plans, a new show we wanted to watch. Everything felt normal. Until 10 minutes later. Keon stopped mid-sentence. His fork clattered. His face drained of color. Sweat poured down his temples. "Zola, I don't feel right. Dizzy, chest pressure, like something's squeezing." He tried to stand, legs buckled. I caught him as he slumped back into the chair. I dialed 911, voice steady even as my heart exploded. "My husband is collapsing. Sudden dizziness, nausea, chest pain, possible poisoning." The paramedics came fast. As they wheeled him out, I ran to the kitchen, grabbed 2 zip bags, poured the leftover wine from each glass into separate bags, labeled them mine and Keon's, and hid them in the fridge. I didn't know why yet, I just knew I had to. At the hospital, the doctor's words hit like a hammer. High concentration of barbiturates in his system, phenobarbital, sleeping pills. The dose was massive. Without quick treatment, it would have killed him. Barbiturates in our celebration wine. I sat in the cold plastic chair, staring at the floor. Only one person had been home before me. Only one person poured the wine. Keon. I went to his bedside. Tubes, monitors, oxygen mask. He looked small, fragile. "Did you put something in my glass?" I whispered. His eyes widened in horror. "Zola, how could you even think? I love you. I would never." But the seed of doubt was planted. That night, alone in our condo, I examined the bottle. The label was damaged, a tiny smudge of glue at one edge, like it had been peeled off and restuck. I called the liquor store the next morning. The clerk remembered Keon buying it at 5 p.m. Bottle was sealed perfectly when it left here. Keon had 1 hour alone with it before I got home. Then I dug deeper. Our finances. 6 months ago, he'd insisted on new life insurance policies, $500,000 payable to the survivor. Lately, he'd been distant, protective of his phone, new password. Late nights, he called work. I checked bank statements. He'd been unemployed for 4 months, laid off, never told me, took out a $40,000 loan against our condo in secret, and almost daily charges at a coffee shop on the opposite side of the city. I went there. The barista recognized his photo instantly. Keon? Yeah, he's here nearly every day, usually with the same woman. Dark bob, always dressed sharp. They sit by the window, talk for hours. Look like a real couple. Her name was Serafina Dubois, former colleague, both laid off around the same time, found comfort in each other, then love. I met her in Piedmont Park. She was beautiful, calm, confident. She admitted the affair. Keon said your marriage had become habit, that he wanted to leave but didn't know how. Divorce would be expensive. I asked about the insurance. Her face paled. I didn't know anything about that. But the police found deleted emails on her laptop, orders for phenobarbital from an illegal online supplier. She confessed everything. She'd learned about the insurance somehow, realized Keon would never leave me willingly. He still loved me too much, even while cheating. So she took control. That afternoon, while Keon cooked, she stopped by with a flimsy excuse about forgotten documents. He let her in, went back to the kitchen. She added the powder to my glass and left. Keon was innocent of attempted murder, guilty of lies, infidelity, cowardice, but not murder. I thought that was the worst of it, until the day I came home and found the front door slightly open. Keon was on the sofa with a woman I'd never seen, mid-40s, tired eyes, quiet strength. Keon said, standing, voice breaking. The woman spoke first. My name is Lenora. 15 years ago, Keon and I had an affair during a design project. I got pregnant. He offered money for an abortion. I refused. I kept the baby. Our daughter, Danica, is 14. 14? While we were desperately trying for a child, while I was doing fertility treatments, crying over negative tests, blaming my body, Keon already had a daughter he'd hidden from me for 14 years. He'd paid child support in secret, visited her a few times a year, never told me. And now, Danica was dying, congenital heart defect worsening fast. She needed surgery, $50,000. They had nothing. I went to the hospital to see her. She was tiny in the bed, hooked to monitors. But her smile, it was Keon's smile. Same eyes, same warmth. Your dad's wife, she said softly. Thank you for coming. She knew about me, had always known she was the secret child. I sat with her a long time. She talked about school, books she loved, dreams of traveling one day. She wasn't angry. She just wanted to live. I took out a loan against my share of the condo, paid for the surgery, 8 hours on the table. I sat in the waiting room with Keon and Lenora, none of us speaking, all of us praying. The surgeon came out smiling. It was a success. She'll live a full life. Months later, Keon and I sat in the same park where I confronted Serafina. I can forgive the affair, I told him. I can even understand the fear that kept you lying about your job. But the daughter, 15 years of silence while I grieved my own emptiness, I can't live wondering what other secrets are still buried. We divorced quietly, sold the condo, paid off every debt, split the rest fairly. Keon moved closer to Lenora and Danica, married Lenora, not out of passion, but to give his daughter the family she deserved. I bought a small studio apartment, started painting classes I'd always dreamed of, took solo weekend trips, learned to be alone without being lonely. A year later, I met Maurice, a divorced history teacher with kind eyes and no hidden chapters. We take it slow. No grand gestures, just honesty and quiet mornings. Serafina got 12 years. And years after that, at Danica's wedding, a radiant, healthy young woman with Keon's smile, she found me in the crowd, hugged me tight, and whispered, "Thank you for giving me my life." I held her and cried happy tears. That birthday began with a glass of poisoned wine and a split-second decision to switch glasses, a decision that saved my life and exposed every crack in my world. It shattered my marriage, forced me to face betrayal after betrayal, broke my heart in ways I never imagined. But walking through that fire made me stronger than I ever knew I could be. I learned that forgiveness isn't weakness. It's choosing to release the poison of resentment, not for them, but for yourself. I forgave, I let go, I rebuilt. And today, sitting in my little apartment with coffee and sunrise light streaming through the window, I know I'm exactly where I'm meant to be. Free, whole, alive. That's my story. It started with poison and ended with peace.